Yeah, I mean, doing this nonprofit flying to help transport the animals, I think, help us a lot. Kind of
Yeah.
see in operations because, at the end of the day, we will all move on to either flying boxes or flying passengers, right? And I think that kind of gives us like a good first step and insight on how to work with the FBOs, the caretakers for the dogs, and coordinate that, the whole logistic and situation.
Thanks for the offer that you offered for the help, the being in the content today.
No, happy to help because I was in that situation before because I didn't want to go the CFI route.
Yeah.
So that's why I did a lot of networking as well as kind of, looked around online and eventually found one. And
All right.
then that's kind of how I progressed. But I know there's a lot of people out there that doesn't want to go the CFI route, doesn't want to teach, all that stuff. So, any way I can help, I'm all up for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, before we start, I can briefly introduce myself. So,
Yeah.
I have a commercial pilot license. I originally I got a license in Texas, US. So I have FAA license, but currently I'm in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, converting my license to Transport Canada. Yeah, currently I work as a sim instructor.
Okay.
Yeah, for like entertainment purpose.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I have a business, and so I provided the online ground school for student pilots
Mm-hmm.
going to the flight school in US. So yeah,
Okay.
can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, I'm Tony. I'm based here in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
And I did all my flight trainings out of an airport called Van Nuys Airport here in Southern California. And I kind of worked my way up from private all the way up to commercial. I don't have my ATP yet, but that isn't in the work. So how I got started was a little bit interesting, I would say, because I didn't I didn't have a background in aviation in my family or anything like that. I mean, I went to college, but I didn't even study aviation related. And it was kind of when I left college, I wanted to get into HR. At
Mhm.
that time, I want to get into HR. So somehow found myself in the corporate aviation side of the business. And I think after 3 years, 4 years into it, I was like, you know, I mean, it's, like a 9 to 5, right? 9 to 5 every day you go home. And I was thinking, what can I be doing? What else am I interested in learning?
So you
So,
were working as HR in the corporate company,
yes,
Okay.
yeah. And that, yeah, for like all the private jets and all that. And I kind of shifted. Well, I kind of after talking to a lot of pilots at the company. They were like, "Yeah, Tony, you should go take a discovery flight and see how you like it, right?"
Yeah.
And I was hooked, and I was like, "Okay, let's go head in on this." So I started my flight training back in like 2019, and then I kind of slowed down a little bit during COVID times. But yeah, after I got my commercial as well as my multi, I was like, do I want to go the CFI route? I kind of don't like to teach. It's just I don't have a passion for teaching, and if I don't have that passion, I don't want to you know force myself to teach, right? Because students are not going to learn anything, and I just don't think I'll be happy doing it.
Yeah.
Because I know there are a lot of CFIs out there that are like miserable because they don't like teaching either, but it's kind of like their only way of going at it. But I think for me, fortunately, because I was in Van Nuys where there's a lot of like 91 operator, 135 operator, a lot of opportunities. So I was able to meet different people, learn different kind of what other jobs are out there. And I was able to pick up a job called Traffic Watch. I'm not sure if you heard anything about it before, but it's where we fly 172 with a radio station reporter in the back. And during the morning and the afternoon rush hour, we would go up and then follow like the freeways. Kind of like your nowadays, you just pull up Google and look at, where the traffics are, all that stuff. But it's actually um, live in the air. So we
Hmm.
fly morning, afternoon, rush hour, and then if there's an accident, let's say in downtown LA, we would just kind of circle around that spot until that accident kind of clears up, and then we would continue moving on to different section of the whole city.
Oh,
And that job required about like 500 hours. So so from 250 hours to 500, I kind of build up myself, right? Spending money, rent planes, flying with different people, helping, instrument students, all that stuff, and also doing some nonprofit flights. Because there's an organization called like Pilots and Paws, which I was involved in, where we kind of help transport like animals to different cities for sheltering or if someone's adopting.
okay.
And those can be used like when you rent planes and all the expenses, you can actually get a tax write-off on those. So it's kind of offset some of the costs, but not all of it to my knowledge. Um, so I mean that was a bit of help, right? Because otherwise you would be burning through your wallet a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, but then I was able to pick up a job at 500 hours for that traffic watch, and then I kind of built from 500 hours all the way until 1500.
Wow. So let's talk about uh, with the timeline. So here,
Mm-hmm.
so you were doing flight training um, while you're working as HR at the corporate jet
Mm-hmm.
company,
Yeah.
and you got a CPL, commercial pilot
Yeah.
license,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got this transportation, like volunteering activity afterwards.
Yes. Well, yeah, time building / doing some nonprofit flying
Okay.
all the way up until 500 hours.
Okay. Did you like did your job help to get this volunteering activity, or did you like
No,
okay.
no, it's like I have to like kind of um, go up online, kind of see what other people are doing.
Mm-mm.
Uh, lot like scrolling through a lot of like aviation forums.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's kind of like how I learned about that nonprofit organization.
Mm-mm.
And I was surprised to find that a lot of people at some point did that during their time building process.
Wow.
Because, if you're like, sure, you're paired up with someone to go fly to build time, but you're always going to like, familiar places, right?
Mm-mm.
Why not do it with a purpose as well, like to
Yeah.
help out, right?
Yeah.
And
This sounds very new to me because I mean a lot of people think about like a skydiving
mhm,
or
banner towing.
yeah banner towing stuff for the low time, like
Hmm.
that segment you talk about from 200 or 250 hours to 500,
Right,
or they just spend money
right.
to build their hours. So, I mean, what did you exactly do for that activity? Just so transporting animals from place to place.
Yeah, so because it's a nonprofit, and it's technically like a volunteer, most of the people that did this kind of flying, they all have their own planes.
Mm-mm.
Like they all have their own like 182, like bigger planes that can fly longer, that have enough cargo space, like a Bonanza. But for me and for my friend, we were just renting planes and then kind of doing this activity.
Mm.
Um, so, but I know that most flight school owners, they don't like doing this because it's an insurance concern. Because you're
Yeah,
having
yeah.
it's not used for flight training. You're using it for a different purpose. So it was a lot of no flight from the flight schools and the flight school owners. And we were fortunate to have a flight school owner here at Van Nuys that has Bonanzas that have big enough of a cargo space.
Hmm.
That doesn't really. I mean, he didn't care. He didn't care what we do it for, as long as you can bring the plane back in one piece, and he's good for it. So we were very fortunate to be doing that. But renting a Bonanza versus renting a 172, it is a little bit costly.
Yeah.
So that's why I mean, when we knew, once we found out about, oh yeah, we can do some tax write-off for this nonprofit,
Hmm.
um, up to a certain percentage, we were like, okay, makes sense for us.
Mm-mm. So, okay, so you rented out the plane yourself with your friends
Yeah.
and participate that
Hmm.
non-profit organization activity.
Yeah.
So, like, was it more economic compared to spending money for the time building in the flight school?
Um, I would say no, but at least for us, we were just trying to time build with a purpose, right?
Hmm.
Because otherwise, for me in LA, we mostly fly to Santa Barbara, fly to San Luis Obispo, or down south to San Diego, grab some food, and then come back, or fly to Palm Springs and come back, fly to Vegas and come back. Like, because there are always other renters behind us, so we can't really take the plane out for too long,
Yeah.
right? So that's some of the concerns that we have. So, um, yeah, I mean, doing this nonprofit flying to help transport the animals, I think, help us a lot. Kind of
Yeah.
see in operations, because at the end of the day, we will all move on to either flying boxes or
Mhm.
flying passengers, right? And I think that kind of gives us like a good first step and insight on how to work with um the FBOs, the caretakers for the dogs, and coordinate that, you know, the whole logistic and situation out.
Yeah. I mean, you're in HR, so you might know that if someone has flying experience under non-profit organization's name, it might look better than just, you know,
Yeah,
time building themselves.
yeah, yeah. Because when you do your time building, like, it doesn't show up on your resume,
Yeah.
right? But if you do nonprofit work, uh, you have records of signing up with those nonprofit, and then accepting those trips where you agree to transfer this animal from Phoenix to LA.
Hmm.
Or one time, our flight was, there's a pilot that flew the dog from Phoenix to Palm Springs, and we would pick it up from Palm Springs and then fly it back to LA. So it's a
Oh,
two leg coordination.
Okay. So
So
okay, so since it was not a profit organization, did that take care the pay for that flight, or like how does it work, the structure? So do the pilots pay all the rental fees themselves and they get a free service?
so yeah, so for me and my friend, we rent the planes from the flight school, and most of the time we don't need to fuel up the plane. We can just uh, fill it up before we leave to the full tank, and then we travel, and then we go out and fly, and we come back, and then should be enough.
Mhm.
But then let's say our total rental cost, let's say it's $1,000 for this trip, and then we have to get like a form from the nonprofit organization saying, "Hey, we did do this flight." And then I forgot the tax code how it works here in the U.S., but that $1,000 you can take it up to a certain percentage as write off from your tax return.
Oh, okay. So I mean, it might be more sounds more economic if like the someone who has business and they need to write off their tax.
Yes, but not a whole lot.
Okay.
Not a whole lot. But for
Hmm.
us that are still kind of like working our way up in training, burning through our wallet,
Hmm.
yeah, might be. It's also a way to look at it too.
So how many pilots were involved in the one trip at that time? Two?
I mean, just me and my friend.
Okay.
Me and my
So
friend, yeah, because one of them, like, he could be flying this leg, I would fly the next leg, but one of us, we just help with the comms and then just make sure like the dogs in the bags are all good. They're not
yeah.
like, you know,
Hmm.
agitated and all that stuff.
And you all share the travel cost?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. And and then you got a corporate job offer from the company you were working for or different
So
company?
that's my current situation, but I had to build up my hours first, right? So after I build up myself to 500 hours, I was my friend who was already working at the traffic watch job kind of referred me to the company owner saying, "Hey, Tony's a good fit. He's been flying 172s a lot." And I had to wait for a year because they were fully staffed.
Mm,
And then I was able to get on 1 year after and then fly with a reporter mornings and afternoon rush hour and then kind of build up my time. And it's single pilot, right? So
mm-mm,
it's just you and the reporter in the back.
mhm,
And we do that weekday, Monday to Friday,
mm-mm.
mornings and afternoon rush hour. But it's all VFR only. So we cannot go up if it's IFR situation.
Okay, interesting. Because I thought that those media companies usually do the helicopters, not a fixed wing
They
plane.
do. They do. It was kind of um, nowadays it's mostly helicopters. But the radio station, it's part of the iHeart Media. They are still doing 172 planes. And I would say I was fortunate to get that job because not a lot of people know about it and kind of helped me build up my hours without going the CFI route.
Oh,
And
cool.
as well, there's a lot of like, like you mentioned, banner towing, skydiving, things like that are, that you can find everywhere. But I would say one of the things is that a lot of the more local jobs, they don't market publicly because they can always find people
Yeah.
that can refer each other, friends helping each out, saying, "Hey, I got a job for you. Hey, I got a job for you. Are you interested in doing that?" And that's kind of how I landed as well.
Yeah. I know about the story about the skydiving pilots. So like, yeah, they usually it's very seasonal. So
Hmm.
I know they fly only during the weekend because
Hmm.
customers only want to do the skydiving during the weekend, and they only get paid based on the hack time.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's not a lot of money. It's just just like I can say it's a flying gig.
yeah,
Yeah, and income wise, you cannot live with that. You should have some
yeah,
another job. Yeah.
yeah. And that's kind of how what I was doing, because I
Mhm.
was working during the daytime. Because I would mostly only pick up, because we have like three pilots, um, myself included. So I would usually give the morning shift to other people, and then I take the afternoon because that will allow me to kind of work the morning on my office job first, and then I would go out to fly the afternoon rush hour time. So I was
Oh.
kind of working 12 hours a day
How many hours did you fly at the time for months?
per month. I think my highest per month, I think one of the months was like 90 hours,
90 hours. Oh, that's
90
not.
hours, 90 hours. But it's it was during the summertime, and it was not fun
Oh,
because
okay.
you're in like
Okay.
100 degree, and then you're like hot. You're in a 172, no AC. You gotta just keep the windows open, and then you're like drinking water all the time because once we go up, we stay up for like 3.5 hours.
Okay. Wow.
Um, Unless the reporter wants to use the bathroom, then we would briefly land at an airport.
Okay.
During kind of like the middle, like after right after his reporting, there's like a 15-minute gap
Yeah.
where once he started reporting, I had to call like, okay, we're coming into land, and then take off before he has to make another report on the air. So
Oh, cool. So it was a somewhat seasonal, but they operate during the winter time also, right?
yeah, it's all year round, Monday to Friday.
Okay. So yeah, typical regular job. Like, but
Mhm.
you can work also during the evening or afternoon.
Um, so it's the shift. It's from 3:30 until 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's six. Ends at
okay.
6. Yeah, yeah,
So you probably had to adjust your other job
yeah,
shift, right?
yeah.
So you can
So
finish it
that
here.
yeah, so I have to like kind of start early in the day. Like I have to start at like 6 a.m. in the morning, or you sometimes even 7 a.m., and then work until like 3 o'clock,
Mhm.
and then start the flying at like 3:30 ish, and then
So do you
finish up
think?
at like 6:30.
Yeah. So do you think your previous HR job helped you to get that job? How did you like? How did you meet your friend who referred you for this job?
So the friend that referred me, we were time building partners at one point. He ended up getting his CFI license, met another guy who introduced him to that flying job. And then when I knew about it, I was like, oh, keep me in mind. Keep me in mind whenever there's an opening or someone's leaving. So after a year, that's when he said, okay, Tony, there's a opening for you now. Do you want
Okay.
to, do you still want to do it? I was like, yeah, sign me up for it. And that's kind of how I got started. And I mean, it's all kind of like ties in together, right? You meet people, you
Yeah.
stay connected with them, and then eventually, you know, I mean, I would say every like 3 months, I would kind of follow up I mean, of course, I also see him on the airport all the
Mhm.
time because I'm still flying out of there. But every time I see him, I was like, hey, how are things going? You know, has a spot open up yet? Just kind of casually talking,
Yeah.
following up. And
Oh, cool.
eventually, he'll remember, oh, yeah, Tony's looking for this job.
Okay.
And then give you an opportunity.
So, in your experience, how so for the low time pilot jobs, low
Hmm.
time pilots, do you think a traditional resume and an online application is more important, or compared to in-person networking and personal connections?
I would say networking in person over applications, because if you can find that job openings, there are 1,000 people that can also find that job
Mhm.
openings, right? And those networking ones are kind of gatekeeped. They will gatekeep, like, you must know this person first because this person knows the owner
Mhm.
and can, and a lot of time the owner doesn't even care. They don't even know, like, that the current person is about to leave because they've already reached the hours, right?
Yeah.
So that's the time when that person started to, like, talk to their friends. Hey, do you still want this job? Are you interested in it? Or someone randomly approached to them saying, oh, I saw you doing this. Can you tell me more about it? It's all through, like, talking people
Mhm.
and making that connection. So yeah, I would definitely say in-person connection, networking is way more important than online application for low time jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I haven't even heard someone who got a job through the road trip. So
Hmm.
yeah, like for instance, in Canada, bush
Hmm.
flying job is very popular in the north. So I know someone who packed everything in his truck and went
Hmm.
on a road trip to hand out the resume himself. And you know, 1 hour, I mean, one month, 2 months later, he got a job somewhere in the Yukon, far north.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they often give you accommodation, so it's great opportunity. But yeah, not many people do that.
Yeah, because um, yeah, I think one of the time that I think I walked into a couple companies to drop off my resume, or sometimes even I think I got to talk to one of the managers at once, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we'll contact you, if we have an opening." And I
Mhm.
think like a day later, they did contact me for it.
Okay.
They said, "Hey, do you want to do a tryout for it?" I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." But then after that trial, I kind of knew it wasn't a fit for me. Like,
Oh,
even though I can take it, but because I have a full time job that I
oh,
need
yeah,
to
yeah,
pay the bills for,
yeah.
and I was like, yeah, this won't be a fit for me.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, including CFI, a lot of low time pilot job, the pay is not really good. So it's just pays you build hours. So what about now? So are you already hit the 1,500 hours and working at the regional now, or?
No, so what happened to me was, because I've been with my current company for 8 years since my first day as an HR person.
Mhm.
um, they have an opportunity internally where if you work with the company for at least 2 years, you have at least 500 hours, you have your commercial multi rating, they you can guarantee an interview with the company to
Mm-hmm.
fly. So because I was at that point, because they just recently opened this program up like last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm already at 1,500 hours. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sign me up for it.
Yeah.
So I kind of transferred internally.
Yeah.
Went through the same interview process, um, and then now I am on the right seat,
Yeah.
FO for on the Citation
Yeah.
XL plane, and that's where I am currently at right now. And I think that's one of also the other thing is that I do want to share is that you can always like work for a company,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a 91, 135 company, you get to establish that connection and networking already because you're working in the office. You get to talk to people, management, pilots, and be open about telling your story, right? You're interested in aviation, that's why you're here, but also you're working on getting your license, uh, working to become a pilot, and everyone will know.
Yeah.
And let's say if a spot opens up, rather than spending money going out, market, take the time to interview people, and sometimes people don't even want to come or accept the offer because there's better offer out there or anything
Yeah.
like that. If they can just turn toward you internally,
Yeah. All
no
right.
problem.
So yeah, going back to the story, you said you're flying a Citation now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a other job after that traffic watch.
Yes. But it's technically my HR job,
Yeah.
just transferring internally to the first officer job.
Oh.
Still with the same company.
Oh. Okay. So
Yeah.
2 year passed already.
Yes.
Okay. So that you got that offer, that, like, what do you call that, ground to pilot position?
Yeah. So actually, let me take a step back on the
Yeah.
timeline. So I was working on my licenses from private all the way to commercial from 2019 up to 2021. Time bill from 21 to 23.
Yeah.
And then I picked up the traffic watch job at 500 hours around May 2023. And then I filled up my time until last year, December 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then I um, ended my HR job April of this year and then move on to the first officer role
Mm.
in April. So I've been flying for the past 6 months.
Oh, so you recently got this job,
Yeah.
but you got that conditional offer 2 years ago, was it?
No, early this year.
Oh, this year. Okay, okay,
This year. Yeah.
okay. Since you were already working at that
Yeah.
company.
Yeah. The
Okay.
the internal program was opened up last year,
Mm-hmm.
where if you work within the company, you can move on to the company's first officer role with as low as 500 hours.
Mm-hmm. As long as
So
you already worked for 2 years in that company.
yeah, and then you successfully pass the interview process. Just it's the same process as the external candidates would go through.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
in my class in April, there were five of us, and four of us are all internal
Oh,
because we
okay.
have a lot of people like in our maintenance department, in our dispatch department that do have their license.
Yeah.
Some of them are CFIs teaching other people trying to build up hours, but when everyone heard that, oh, this program is happening. All right, everyone started applying. And I think the lowest that we've had, the lowest person we've had was 250 hours.
Wow.
But
Okay.
most people have at least, I think one person had 520 hours. One of them had like 800 hours.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, the 250 hours is a little bit special. It's
Yeah.
because that was part of the job agreement where he was hired to do an office role. It's what we call the ground instructor role, where he teach the in-dock class
Yeah.
for he has to teach for at least a year and a half to 2 years, and then the company will open up a class day, see which class day works, and then kind of move him over into that role. So that's how he was able to get it, and
Oh,
that's why I was suggesting that if you have the time and capacity to work at a company, aviation company, they might open up for internal candidates to apply, right? So that is another way for, low time pilots.
interesting. So, I mean, that person who had the 250 100 hours, he was working at your company as a ground instructor,
Yeah.
and I guess they had a different planes other than Citation.
At that time, yes. Yes. Yeah, at that time we have various options. We have the light jets, like the Citation XLs, the mid
Mm-mm.
size with the Challengers, the heavy size with like the Globals and the Gulfstreams.
Mm.
We have from light to heavy,
Yeah.
so that kind of gives the company more options, right? To start this more power
Yeah.
to start this
Yeah.
program, because they can fill the light jets for people to kind of start building their time in, getting experience in, and then eventually they can continue to flow within the company to hire bigger planes.
Yeah. I know I heard about similar stories in airlines.
Hmm.
Like for instance, in Korea, there was some culture in specific airlines that don't hire too young first officers. Like
Hmm.
if you're under 25 years old and you were already qualified to become a first officer, but they don't want to put you in the line operation.
Hmm.
So they hire you as ground instructor first, and after like 3 to 4 years, when you're old enough
Hmm.
and probably can, meet the company policy about the age.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can become an first officer. But it sounds I don't know, a little bit ironically for me, because someone who doesn't have experience with jet, they teach, they instruct the people in the class.
I would say for in-dock, a lot of time in-dock is kind of like the onboarding process for the new hire pilots, right? You're introducing them to the company, to the culture, to all the different systems that the company uses, um, kind of like talking about the company's SOPs, um, and all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
So in in a sense, it is a good way for people to start learning about the company.
Yeah.
Like, what to expect, how, like, what to follow in terms of company's SOP standards, all that stuff. But by the time you move from the instructor role to the first officer role,
Mhm.
you pretty much have everything. You pretty much have all the company's standards, procedures all
Yeah,
figured
definitely.
out.
Definitely. Yeah. So, okay, so you probably have a lot of friends who doesn't go through the CFI route, right?
Mm, yeah, I do have a couple. I have a handful of them.
So, but have you ever considered to become a CFI before? Like, I mean, honestly, a lot of regionals prefer CFI experience. Uh, yeah, I mean, unless the candidate already have
Hmm.
jet time.
So I was in the middle of prepping for my CFI. But I think kind of like in the middle, like towards kind of like the beginning, early middle part of it, preparation. My friend basically called me and said, "Hey Tony, there's a job available for you now. Do you want to take it?" I was like, "Yep." I took it, and then I didn't even bother continue with the finishing up the CFI stuff.
Oh, at 500 total time.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I
okay.
was in the process of, I was like, maybe I should just do the CFI route, but then my friend called me at the right time.
Yeah, because you're spending your
I would
money
say,
to build the hours at the time.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. I mean, really, really interesting. So that was 2019, right? When you got a media, the traffic patrol job.
No, that was 2023.
2023. Okay.
Yeah, 2019 is when I first started my flight training. When I started my flight training. Yeah.
Okay. So I can tell during 2022 to 2024, there was massive pilot shortage.
Yeah.
Regionals were hiring really, really aggressively. And
Yes.
probably, I think the market situation helped you out to get that job also, I guess.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
because there were a couple of people already meeting the 1500 hours, so they were already have a class day booked. I think, I think at that time the regionals want you to start in like a month or two.
yeah.
So it's like, you know, person's gone, person's ready to go, and then they got to fill the spot,
Mhm.
right? So my friend called me. I was like,
Mhm.
yes.
And I can tell your previous HR job was like pretty similar to FBO. And, do you think it was valuable enough to make you step into aviation and get this corporate pilot job? Because, yeah.
Yeah, I think so because, you know, working in HR kind of, because I wasn't technically just doing HR stuff, right? I was also helping out with the interview process, screening candidates on top of my HR role. But so I was doing pretty much everything. And whenever I have a chance, I will always kind of like ask the chief pilot or the director of ops saying, "Hey, is there anything I can help you out with?" You know, and then just kind of put myself out there, kind of, and then also talking to pilots because I was also doing the onboarding process for the pilots, just making sure that they can sign into their payroll system, they know the benefits option, insurance options, all that stuff.
Hmm.
So I think that kind of, and I would agree that this HR job within the um, the company kind of gave me a lot of exposure to do that and kind of help push me towards getting my license and eventually now doing that internal transfer.
Yeah. So going back to your flight training in 2019,
Hmm.
did you enroll Part 61 school or Part 141 school?
61, because I also consulted a couple pilots. They're like, there's no need to go back to a university.
Yeah.
You already have a college degree. And at that time, if you wanted to go into aviation, um, you know, you don't need to go back to a university, go through that whole program, only to come out with like 100K in debt, in student
Yeah.
debt. Because the guy was telling me that, hey, you already have a job here, right? This is
Yeah.
you already have a foot into the industry. Just spend time on the weekend before work or after work to do your flight training,
Hmm.
and you get to earn money as you go
Hmm.
while paying for the flight training.
Mm.
So, but I would say 141 is definitely much more structured,
Yeah.
whereas 61s, it can, you got to do your own research and got to keep a lookout for yourself, because not every instructor is doing it in the best of your interest.
Hmm.
Because my first instructor was heavily time building oriented.
Okay,
Like
so he was time builder.
he didn't even like teach me or get me set up with like applying for the student pilot
Yeah.
license from the IACRA to do all that. He's just like, all right, you ready to go fly? And then
Yeah.
he literally took me
I
out flying.
mean, people often say there are three types of instructors. First, time builders. Second, experience builders. And third one is great pilot builders. So
Yes.
yeah, it really depends on the instructor. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
luckily I met good instructor when I was in the flight school. Yeah, but yeah, I heard a lot of story about the students met wrong instructors, and
Yeah.
sometimes they had to change the instructors, and um, they had to get another endorsement from new instructor, so they had to spend more hours, flight hours,
Hmm.
more spend money for the flight hours to do the check ride stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's not really easy for you to manage all that flight training and your HR job at the same time.
Um. Yeah, I have to like shift things around a little
Yeah.
bit. I would ask my manager, "Hey, can I come in to work early? Can I start later? Can I start later in the day?" Because during the winter time, I definitely want to start a little bit later in the day. Whereas during the summertime, I like to start early in the days because it's not 100 degrees outside, right?
Yeah.
By the time you get to afternoon. So,
Did you take an online ground school?
um,
Very
no,
originally, no.
no, I did a lot of those ASA book,
Oh,
the
so you
interviews,
just self-studied.
the oral study guide. Yeah, I basically study that, watch some YouTube videos, and then whatever stuff I don't know, I just talk to my instructors about it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I
Did
mean,
you?
the instructor was pretty comfortable with me, so he was just like, yeah, he said, if you can just read the book, study on your own,
Yeah.
that'll save a lot of money for you. Like, I don't have to sit, you don't have to pay me to sit with you for like an hour or two,
Hmm.
feeding you knowledge if you can just read. And then we can just do the, talking part, oral part during our cross country flight or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he was pretty efficient.
Hmm.
Like he's also like trying to save money for me as well. Because like, if we're doing a long cross country for our requirements, we can just talk about stuff in the air.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah,
So you need to pay for the ground school.
right.
Many flight schools charge for that for a ridiculous amount of money. Honestly,
Yep.
especially Part 141 schools.
Yeah.
Did you pass the written exam before you start the pilot training, or did you get that alongside
Mhm.
with your
So
training?
I got that along the way,
Oh, okay, yeah.
pretty much.
I mean, when I meet someone who wants to start flight training, I usually recommend them to study first and pass the written exam first. I think it's beneficial.
Yeah, because I think for me, I was told to get your medical first.
Oh yeah, of
Because
course.
don't drop the money if you can't get a medical.
Yeah. Did you so while you're working at the corporate jet company as a HR,
Hmm.
did you have any mentor?
Um, Not really a mentor, but this person was kind of like the person that kind of gave me that final push to start flight training. Um, because he already came in, he already had his license. He was working for the company in the office for the
Mhm.
for the office role, and I was talking to him about it a lot, and he was kind of, yeah, just do it, man. You know, no point of like doing all these research, doing like you just get yourself into analysis paralysis. Like you can research all you want about a flight school, just
Mhm.
start taking it, start flying it, and then eventually things will come together. And that's kind of
Yeah.
how I move along. And so, yeah, I would say, he's kind of like a mentor. Sometimes I go to him for like advice, things like that. But I do have a mentor for Papa assigned to me.
Okay, so is your dad a pilot?
No, my family has no aviation background. Oh,
Okay.
so I'm
So
the
I
first
mean,
one.
do you still contact with that person who gave you inspiration to start the flight training?
Yeah.
Hmm. Do you recommend, you know, I mean, to give the audience context? So we met through the Papa
Hmm.
organization. So how did you join the Papa?
Um, I think I first knew about the NGPA organization, and that kind of prompted me to do some research on the internet. Like if there's an Asian pilot group,
Mm-mm.
and
Yeah.
then there actually is. I was like looking deeper into it, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll pay the membership and then join.
I was surprised because aviation is very back in 1990s. It was very white male dominant industry,
Hmm.
and now it's very diverse.
Yeah, it's very
But
diverse here in the U.S. So,
mhm. So yeah, so for the last if you if someone comes to you and you know looking for advice,
mhm.
um, like what you did, they don't want to do the CFI and they want to work at corporate job like you, not a
Mhm.
typical regional companies. What kind of advice can you give to them?
I would say you got to put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. be at the airport, talk to different people, and just network. Whether that be just hanging around or like picking up a job.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people say, pick up a job as a line service guy, helping out with the bags, all that stuff. I've seen some other people like pick up like plane washing job, or just be at the airport,
Mm-hmm.
closest to you, or a bigger airport that has different operators, right? And then making that connection, and eventually something will pop up for you, because a lot of times it's airplane owners or private jet pilots, and they're always very happy to, if someone can approach them
Mm-hmm.
and you share your passion with them, and then they'll know whether this person is the right fit or not. So
Yeah.
I think that's my suggestion, just put yourself out there, talk to people, and eventually an opportunity will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, some people, they, I mean, they try to get a FBO job, and sometimes they turn them down. So I mean, I'm definitely sure if someone is looking for any job in the aviation industry, they can easily get a ramp agent or service agent. Actually, I know the mentor I met through the Papa. He worked as a um, service agent first, and later he got a 703 operator job. So Part 135 companies are called 703 operators in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of gives him a open the way to get a FO job later. So I mean, thank you for your time today. Just I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to help and kind of share my side of the story on how I got to where I am today without going the CFI route. There's definitely a lot of jobs, like I said, not publicly advertised out there.
Mm-hmm.
So just gotta kind of network around. But also, one of the other thing is Facebook. Facebook. There's a lot of Facebook group, low-time pilot jobs. Just search for it, join those groups, and then eventually something will pop up.
Is there any way? Is there any way that someone can contact you through, like, for instance, Instagram, email?
Yeah. So my Instagram is flywith87Tony, and yeah, feel free to DM me. I'll be able to kind of guide you, help you, or provide advice.
Cool. So anyone who want to get advice from Tony, they can contact to his Instagram. Just shoot the DM. All right, Tony. Thank you for your time, and have a good evening.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thank you.
Bye.